Good morning guys, so how are you all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So we'll go over to those charts. So as it stands, it's obviously looking a lot better than we were yesterday. We've got this important level that we need to get back above, hold above this important support zone, and I think that basically will be key for what happens basically going forwards. I think this is the most critical zone. If we can start to find support here and play out this area, then I think that's basically the ascending triangle definitely, well, not definitely, nothing's ever definite, but the ascending triangle is confirmed. As to whether we break out the top, that obviously will just speak to the statistics of doing so. But yeah, so what I believe will happen then is that yeah, if we play out this zone, we'll maybe get like another wick test down, test down to even maybe as low as 9,200 at some point in this space before we then, before hopefully we break back above the 9,800 and then onwards and upwards. But that will be looking incredibly bullish. I mean, if you were a bear and you were selling that market and you saw us only get down to here, all the way back above 9,500 the next day, and then a few days after back above 9,800, I think you're pretty much just gonna give up, on your bearishness, at least temporarily, and just think, okay, I'll sell it at 11,000 or something like that. But that's the way I see it at the moment. At the moment, it's looking good. It is looking good. I mean, we can easily have another test down. We can have another test down at some point if we break and close above here and play out this range. But also, we are, like I said, we're at a critical level here. Obviously, look at this level is really important. So we're currently testing it. But if we get rejected from here, I mean, we could very easily see a move back down, where I would expect another move back down. Well, this is difficult. This is why Bitcoin is a bit difficult, because we often get these big wicks down that we then basically don't ever trade that low again after the initial move. But if I was looking at like a normal market, I would think, okay, so we're gonna get rejected here, come down, then we'll take out the low of this wick just to get that extra liquidity, and then rally strongly back upwards. But this is Bitcoin, and we don't often exceed our initial wick. As you can see, our initial move down, we don't often exceed it. So it's not necessarily what I think may happen. We may just get down to the 9,200 and then get bought up pretty quickly then. I mean, on this 4-hour chart, this may end up being in confluence with this trend line as well anyway. So yeah, that may be what happens. So yeah, so if we do play out the zone around here, what we obviously need to be careful of is that if we don't necessarily get a move out of the zone or a move down, but we keep trading sideways, and eventually we find ourselves out here, out of the ascending triangle, then we may start to have problems. But obviously that we can address that when we get there. There will obviously be the other side, that the more we drift around here, the more we're out of the macro trend line, out the top of it. So obviously you've got this bearish and that bullish. You see these two lines here. So yeah, it's yeah, so I mean, this is the point where it is Bitcoin's got to make its decision. When we were up here and we weren't really making any progress, it became a good risk reward trade to come to the low side of the triangle. At the moment, I mean, it's a case of getting back into this zone, and then it will look like a pretty good risk reward trade to buy the breakout of this 8,900 for, well, continuing to at least 10,000 and then potentially beyond in what could be an explosive move. So yeah, I mean, it's in the balance at the moment. Obviously, we all know it's all really going to depend on what happens here. We're getting obviously the similar price action in the S&P. So I mean, this could I mean, we're at a level now that I've had drawn in, an important level we broke through, and you can see we're at that level now. So this is like our equivalent to our 9,500 level in Bitcoin. If we break above here, then that's great, and then our next level to target will be the 786, and then we could very easily get rejected at the 786, and then make a move for lower than this low and take this low out. But obviously, we could just break through and carry onwards and upwards. So, but obviously, I think we are getting a bit led by the stock market. If we do see more strength, I think Bitcoin will naturally just make its way up as well. But also notice this 4-hour 9, this great 4-hour 9 we had here. So obviously the breaker for that candle to the upside was a buy trade. Not that this is the crypto video anyway. We'll go over this in the in the S&P video. But yeah, so interesting trade there. But yeah, so I think we are very dependent on what stock markets do. But my view on the stock markets is bearish though. It is that we don't have the liquidity that people thought we did, because the Treasury is now soaking that all up, and the Fed's only doing like 80 billion a week, and that isn't enough. Isn't enough to even satisfy what the Treasury is issuing. So I believe we're in a negative liquidity environment now. So basically I think that stock markets could struggle, so obviously that will lend itself to not ideal conditions for Bitcoin. I mean, calling it headwinds might be an understatement, because it's just going to basically drag us down with it. That's what will happen there. So yeah, so it's difficult, but obviously in the meantime we take this level out. Whilst other stock markets are playing around this zone, Bitcoin I think will drift its way up. I don't think it's necessarily gonna break out this formation before stock markets take out their lows of yesterday, so which we are quite far away from. So yeah, I mean, yeah, critical point at the moment. We get back above here, we'll probably see some nice action in this range. Get back above here, we'll see some that will confirm the descending triangle, and then it'll just be a case of when we break out. It'll be a case of it's very likely we break out, and the bears will probably start to capitulate at that point. So yeah, for our Stokes, they're obviously pretty low and looking like they are going to push up, going to cross and push up, which obviously give us some nice upward momentum. 8 hour Stokes still pointing down. I guess 12 hour will still be pointing down, and 2-day don't know why I went to 2-day crossing back, but also daily not looking the hottest. But this is the main one. This is the main one that concerns me. These 12-hour ones crossing down, and yeah, I mean that this is the most bearish indicator for me, the 12-hour Stokes. So we could very easily, I mean, we could see a bit of a foray up into here, unless we like close higher time frame, like say 4-hour candles in this zone, so we fully established above here. Then obviously that's different, and that'll start to possibly drag the 12-hour at least to flat. But if we don't do that, I think this 12-hour will start to get a bit of momentum, and it will drag us down, and it will drag us out of this formation, I believe. And yeah, and then I guess it's a case of, can we get supported at 8,000 at this zone here? But I wouldn't want to bet on it, put it that way. I wouldn't want to yeah, I wouldn't think it would be statistically likely to hold. If we basically get down to here, I don't think this will hold. So yeah, and then it's just be a case of where will we eventually get supported. I mean, we clearly got a lot of confluence here, this zone. So this would be a nice target. I mean, not nice. I mean, depending how you want to define nice. This would look nice on a chart, nice and orderly, a nice support here. and then potentially a turnaround to break out the larger time frame pennant, which will be a lot lower than what it is now, depending on, well, however you draw it. We will be lower now than we are here, because you're not drawing at an up angle, put it that way. But yeah, so yeah, potential scenarios here. I mean, again, like I keep saying, it is we always at the moment at an important inflection point for Bitcoin. Just because this is such a massive leap for us to make. Just to get like $1,000 up from where we are now, 10,500, and basically stay in this zone, is such a massive leap for Bitcoin. But obviously, clearly, a move down down to like 7,000, which is a is a 2,000 pretty much move. Is not really a massive deal for Bitcoin. And yeah, I mean, we can clearly then put a support there and break through. So yeah, so that's what I'm really looking at the moment. Let's have a quick look at the obviously range and stop is not so much good now, because we're not really trading a range. Obviously these indicators are great. The bot indicators are great. The DMT got us a really good trade. I mean, it had not been doing so well, but this was a great trade. It went down, it never looked back, out for the count. As soon as you got your sell, you pretty much went into a 6% profit. So whilst you could have taken profits on these moves, you would have had to sit in a loss for some of them. But yeah, these profits are obviously only 1.5%. But yeah, I mean, you could have ran this one and got a really good profit. And obviously Dominator literally just the same call, the same time. The Dominator buy signal was here, which was a great buy signal, as you see, because you did get all that move up. So the Dominator got you a from this buy signal. It got you up to basically a 5% profit. I mean, you had to obviously have your trading take profits in there, which obviously you would do. That's how I'm sure you guys would manage your risk, because we know Bitcoin does this. But yeah, you would have had a really nice profit there off the Dominator. I mean, also if you bought the DMT, would have got you a good trade, but you'd obviously had to deal with a lot of this shenanigans, so you may have just opted to take the loss there. But yeah. So that's it really. That's what I've got for you guys this morning. So important day. I mean, I would not be surprised now, basically, if the stock markets get rejected and come lower. I mean, that's what I expect us to see. I expected to see weakness at some point. But if one thing this whole rally has taught me is that my timing of that is not necessarily going to be the best. Until obviously we get like indications like the bond market, like I was showing you in last night's video. But like. This could keep going up. This could double top. It could hit the underside of this trend line, would be an absolute perfect zone, and that underside of this trend line could even be higher here. So we'll just have to see what happens here, because this trend line is I think is important. So yeah, but what would my guess be? My guess would be the highest we'd get to is a 786, but that's based on my bearish view. But I mean, like I said, it doesn't really matter. I trade the TD. Look, the TD got you in a trade. Fantastic. The TD got you short. This is where my breakdowns were. TD got you short. The trend line got you short at the break of this horizontal. Got you short. And yeah, and then this was the line you were aiming for as one of the targets. So if we fronted on that a little bit, so you could have taken profits when you saw the 4-hour 9. So yeah, TD sequential working great on there as well. Anyway, right. So that's it for this video, guys. Watch out for my other stock market and forex videos later. Yeah, and I will. Not financial advice, remember, it's not financial advice, and I'll speak to you guys later.